Those are motherfuckers. Round two of the Memorial Emilio Periser. In the third round, I won against a French player. I analyzed it in the channel. So let's go with the second round. Okay. He opens with d4, knight f6, and bishop f4. My opponent was a player of Uzbekistan with only 1,500 rating, but he plays well. He made an interesting game. He plays more than his rating, of course. Bishop f4, d5, knight f3, and I used to respond always with c5 and knight c6 against the London system. That's my favorite setup. With black, I always play like this. I think this is the most aggressive setup in the London system. Knight b2, and now I go with knight b2 is the smooth. Many people play c3 in that position instead of knight d2, but the problem of c3 is that, for example, here the knight with queen b6 are fine for black, or maybe knight h5 here was possible too. So that's the best move order for white. Knight h5, that's my favorite move. And here white have many options. One was just take this pawn, and this is a black sacrifices a pawn, but uh, instead of that he takes the bishop pair, and these two pawns are weak and double. Okay, the f4 pawn are going to be defended with g3, but in this line sometimes the bishop goes to h3 to avoid white castle. So, but that's the next line according to the machine, the takes c5. But in the practice, I think that is fine for black. Other possible moves here was bishop b5. Here I have or f6 or e6 was moves, and bishop g5 was the other main option. And bishop g3, I think that this is the worst move in this position because you can just simply take here and here. Now I take the bishop pair for free because at least if you play bishop e5 and f6, okay, at least the pawn is a little bit strange on f6. Or the lines with bishop d5, you can create something with white. But with bishop d3, I can just take the bishop for free. And if you say after knight h5, you should play bishop g3. This says that my move knight h5 was fine. So for that reason, I don't like so much the move bishop d3, h take g3. And here I make a so strange move. I play h6. Of course, here I don't remember the theory, but the best way to play was c takes d4. Sorry, c takes d4. It takes d4 and now g6. Can look a little bit strange to place the bishop on e7 when white is going to play some c3. But one day this bishop can be open with e5 or after some b5 before this bishop is still trying to be open. But apart the pawn on g6 defends so well the black king, who's in some nice could be weak thanks to this open file of white. And the problem is that on g3 or on e7 the bishop is not so much active. So g6 followed by bishop g7 was the best development here. c3 bishop g7, knight b3 sword castle, bishop e2, and here I was thinking about rook b8. Was interesting. Is sword castle just b5 and a5? And if a3, I was thinking about just push this pawn. If knight takes c5, e5, and this position is fine for black. But the machine prefers a little bit the move h5 with this plan of queen b6 and bishop b4. The machine plays the PC like this. And a5 here was interesting. a4 and here strange move f6. The idea is play f5 at the next move. And if for example it's short castle, just f5. And if c4, just bishop 6. Rook c1 and now bishop f7 or b6. And the idea of play a5, a4 first is that like after f6 the best response was c4. Now the e4 square was free. So that's the idea of play first a5 instead of f6 directly. But okay, I play 6 with the bad idea of just bishop f5 in the next move. For example, if c3 I was thinking about maybe take or bishop c5 or something. But that's a very bad idea because I can just play bishop b5 with the idea of 95. So some troubles. Here e6 looks of course a bad move because white can just play 95, queen a6 and g4 and white is creating many problems in black side. So that's an incorrect plan. And bishop f5 here he can just take so. Okay, a6 is a bad move, of course. He takes on c5 here. A6 should play 6. Black position is not ready yet to play e5. So, yeah, the black position here is not good for play in e5. Now bishop b5 is coming with some problems. So For that reason, I play e6 better because e5 just bishop b5. So I play e6. Now, if white defends the pawn, maybe I can just, that's my only option, just stay here and enter in this position who look more or less equal. Okay, I have a little bit more space with d5, but later, well, I can break on c4 in one moment and the position looks more or less equal. Okay, bishop b5 for by my opponent, bishop c5, knight e5, which is not good because just queen c7, knight e3, bishop d6, queen g4. And here I failed a little bit. Was better just go for castle, because rook h6 is not possible because e5, queen g5, and bishop e7. The problem is that here I only think about f5, which is of course bad because queen e6 or queen g5. But, and now queen h7 is coming. But I completely miss e5, queen g5, and just bishop e7. So for that reason, g6 is not the best. Of course, I still having a good position, but short castle was the best option. Okay, here I play g6, and now my opponent plays c3, and now I fail with e5, who looks like a huge natural move. But the problem is that here queen f3 attacking the pawn. At that the problem is that queen f3 is attacking d5 and is entered on f6. So for example, e4, queen f6, rook h7, and but now we'll have this tactic, knight f4, and if bishop e5, knight d4. And if bishop takes, of course, here, well, white is better. But in general, after he plays queen a4, who is not like the best, queen f3, but it's creating some problem because now white is trending or e5 or c4 or e4 or c4, and this bishop is going to be back on d6, and I'm still having some development problems. So what's better is to continue with the development with, for example, bishop d7, c4, and now I have two options, or just go long castle finishing the development or just h5. But always recap with the bishop on c6. And king f8 was another option that I really like. If a4, just go to g7 and play here the king completely safe. Or if c4, now the other idea of king f8 is that now my knight is not pinned. So now after c4 I have knight b4. But if e5, okay, looks logical because I'm attacking the queen, but it's not the best. The pawn goes just better on e6. And for a reason I moved the e6 like 5 moves ago because it's a more solid move. But okay, after e5 it's not the end of the world, of course, queen e4. Now king f8 again was the best, just leaving the pin. Bishop d7, e4 good move, and I respond well with d4. And after this trade we reach an endgame. Okay, the machines say like it's equal, but it's not. It's easier, in my opinion, to play for black than for white. So, and after Swordcaster, I'm slightly better in this endgame. So this means that white black is slightly better at the start because if you make some inaccuracy and you are worse, it's because black is better. Rook a8, good move, taking the c5, knight f3, take, and rook c2, entering the 7th rank, very good. Rook fd1, king e6, leaving the d5, f4, rook c8, rook ab1. And here I have this good idea of just take here, f takes and rook c4. Just attacking this pawn, now I have the h5 pawn and pass. And if f3, now I can just return to c2, because now the 7th rank is open and the rook is stronger. On c2 after white plays f3. Okay, instead of that b5, oh, okay, it's bad because, but just because he takes f4 with a stronger blue, because f5 is a logical move. King f1, and now I have the same idea of take and rook c4. I play e6, just defending this pawn. Just I was thinking about, I remember I was thinking about h5. Yes, but I don't like so much this type of lines. Of course, look like, mm, of course, black have the advantage because this king was so active and the rooks are more active, but now it's a rook hanging with the same pawn, so I don't really like this hanging. I just prefer to defend the pawn. No, sorry, I'm not thinking about h5. I was thinking about a5. That's the move that I was calculating here. Okay, this can work with h5 too, but yes, I was thinking about that position. I don't see anything clear. For that reason, I just moved the pawn one step to defend the pawn. In the end, you always want to take more space, but I was calculating this line, and I just prefer to just defend the pawn and keep playing the endgame. So here, c4, f5, and takes king 7, knight g2. And now very good move bishop c5. Now the knight is going to e3, so I just prevent with bishop c5, should b5, bishop d4, well placing my bishop in a strong position, knight e3, and now I have this tactic of just check and take the pawn. And he played knight d4, but the problem is that he looks like he's attacking e5 and a6, but after a6 he cannot take here because this rook hanging, or with king f6, or with, I was thinking, I prefer king f6, but I was thinking of king d6 too, and okay, then rook c2 and rook a2. But I prefer a leader with king f6, because okay, now I look like the rook can take here, but just rook c2, and this hanging of course is completely winning. And if he just advanced the king, now rook here and black is winning. So for that reason, he should return to e3. And then rook a1, rook d2. Here, bishop c1 is winning. And now I have bishop d2, we will move. And if king f1 is a little bit different, but rook d2 is winning here. As the bishop c1 was the easiest win, but okay, bishop d4, I'm still winning knight d5, king d6. Knight f6 and just f5 before, and some moves later. I don't remember the rest of the game, but some moves later I just won with a4, b3, and just pushing this pawn. So good start of the tournament. I have 2 points of 2. So let's see how continue the tournament. Bye bye, motherfucker.